Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 45 of Uchiha Naruto, the Sage. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share it to all of your friends on your social media platform, and after this, I'm going to be posting what if Naruto went back in time, and also, what if Naruto was Sasuke on my second channel. So switch over after this and enjoy all the lovely what ifs coming your way. And if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join the Anime King family and be a part of the channel. And remember, go and check out my main channel Anime King and enjoy yourself. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Start it up. So last time we left off, the Mizukage came to the Leaf Village as she made a proposal to marry Naruto so they can be secure with their alliance. So now they asked about her other agreements, and Naruto agreed to be married for some reason as Tsunade couldn't understand. She told Naruto that she will be coming by the Uchiha compound so they could talk about their arrangement with their marriage. Naruto also talked to Karin as she wanted to go to the Sound Village. And Naruto also helped out Gaara in the invasion of Deidara and Sasori trying to take away the one-tailed beast Shikaku. So yeah, that was basically the last part we left off. So let's start this new episode. Currently, Naruto was walking towards his house as he came across the person he had been expecting. She was walking with her two bodyguards as the woman smiled at him, Ayo and Kojuro. She then turned and looked at her two bodyguards. Ayo, Kojuro, you can leave. Me and Naruto have some important matters to deal with, she said with a smile on her face. Both bodyguards nod to Naruto and Naruto nod back as the both of them walked away. Since Mei was still in the village and Naruto was going to be her future husband, they can trust him with her safety. Mei then walked up to Naruto. Let's go inside, Naruto said. I am sure that there is a garden in this place somewhere. Why don't we go there? Mei suggested. It was still day and she wanted to sit calmly in the garden. Naruto shrugged as he walked around the back of the house, with Mei following behind him as they walked towards the garden. He then sat down on one of the benches while Mei did the same. She still had a smile on her face as she looked at him. I have finalized everything with Tsunade, Mei said. You said to finalize the deal with Tsunade and we can talk, Mei said looking directly at Naruto. But Naruto was not looking at her. His eyes were off somewhere. I did, he said in a low tone. Now what do you want? He asked. Mei smiled. I have already said it. I like you and I want to be with you. I don't want this to just be a political marriage. It may be so, but I want love. I want to experience love by you. Naruto turned as he looked at Mei. She was being honest. He could tell that much. You want a chance of love, huh? He said. I feel like this is one chance that I can't waste. I am not getting any younger. I can still enjoy my life at this stage. Over the past years, all I've been doing is fighting, trying to survive the civil war back in the mist. Mei explained as she stared directly in Naruto's eyes. I almost forgot about that, said Naruto. Your parents were killed when you were young, and you had to be forced to lead the rebel and fight off against Yagura, he said in a low tone. Mei smiled sadly. Yes, my childhood might be rough, but not as rough as yours, she said. Naruto stood still for a few moments. He did not like to talk about his childhood. Such pain, such weakness. He did not like to talk about that subject. I dislike that subject, he said. You should not, Mei said, shaking her head. You need to get things off of your stomach to feel better and move on. If you cannot talk about these things, you will never be truly happy. Naruto stared up in the sky with an emotionless look on his face. He then turned to her. We will have to put everything on hold until I finish with a few things. Huh? Mei said, quite surprised at that. What are you talking about? She asked. My schedule is currently full. I have other important things to deal with. Getting emotionally involved with two women at this time will not do me right, Naruto replied, as Yugito was already having an effect on him and now he has to worry about me. Two women? Mei questioned. It is nothing important, Naruto said in a firm tone. He did not want to get in that topic with her. Right now, you have to focus on making Kiri recover from the civil war. That will be enough for now. That should take all your energy. You still have to negotiate alliance with other villages and trade treaties. I can handle all that. A relationship will be fine. When I am in a relationship, it will remind me that I have a life other than being the Mizukage. I don't want to be lost in my job and forget about things in life. Naruto simply looked at me with a blank stare. As she realized that Naruto was not very social, he was not the kind of person to have a casual conversation with. It was mostly all about business for him. Even if she had him, coming home back to him would be like another work. Could Naruto actually give her the love she wanted? Who was she kidding? It seemed unlikely, but nevertheless, she did not believe that he was unable of showing emotion. Everyone had a human part in their hearts, no matter how far they have gone. Even with all that, come on, give it a try, said Mei. If it gets between what you're planning, we can slow it down. No, said Naruto in a firm tone. Why did you even agree to this? She asked. Naruto ignored the question. To get the perfect result, one must be totally focused on their objective. I already have too much distraction. I do not need another one. He then paused for a moment. For now, I am patient. I expect you to be like that. Mei felt silent as she looked at Naruto for a moment. He then stood up. To think I would find myself in this situation at time. As he shook his head. Do not forget to visit the zone. I will contact you. And with that, he disappeared in swirling flames. He just went away? Like that? Mei said to herself, rather disappointed. I guess I should have expected this, she mumbled softly. Well, before I go, I have to say goodbye to Tsunade, as she then got up and started to walk, as all sorts of questions were on her mind. Currently, Oniki was sitting down in his office, as he was going through a lot of paperwork. His two envelopes that were hidden in the shadow sensed something, as Oniki sensed it as well. Suddenly, two corpses dropped out of nowhere as the two envelopes rushed in front of Oniki, but then they realized that it was just corpses, as they wonder where it came from. What is this? Oniki said, as the envelopes went over. Sir Oniki, the envelope said, these are the ones that you sent to back up your granddaughter for gathering information about the sound. They are dead. Oniki gritted his teeth as he knew that this must be a warning from the ones who is really running the sound village. Back at Konoha later that night, Naruto sat on his bed shirtless. His room was dark with no light. Only thing seemed to have light was his eyes. He turned his eyes towards the door as he sensed someone. Sasuke never come into his room unless there was something. The chakra was familiar, but it was not Sasuke's. Yugito. He thought, what does she want at this time of the night? Yugito then knocked once at Naruto's door. As she waited, finally she heard a voice. Come in. As soon as she stepped in, it was completely darkness. But that did not stop her, as she saw Naruto Mangeta Sharingan shining in the dark. She walked towards him, as Naruto didn't say a single word. There was so much things on her mind, as she was kind of frustrated at the moment, but she decided to talk it out softly. I heard that you are getting married to the Mizukage, she said, nicely. Is that why you came, Yugito? Naruto questioned. Yugito was silent for a moment, as she bent down towards Naruto, who was now placing his right hand under his chin. She became level with him, and a few inches separated them. When we were in Kiri, you asked me if I like you, and I could not respond back then. but now I want to tell you that I like you." Naruto did not say a word, as she then spoke again. "When I heard that you were going to be married to the Mizukage, something in my heart moved. I thought that I was the only one for you. I thought that I was the only one who met your standards." As she then placed her right hand on his cheek. Again, Naruto was silent. As he then finally spoke, "I already told you that you were acceptable to me, and I will not throw you away after I said that," he stated. Yugito smiled. "I am glad." As she then kissed him on the lips softly, as, to her surprise, he returned it. As the kiss then broke after a few seconds. "Can I stay here for tonight?" "Do as you please," Naruto said as he shrugged his shoulder. "I will take that as a yes," Yugito said with a small smile. "Can you close your eyes so I can slip off these clothes before getting into bed?" "I have already seen you naked, Yugito. There is nothing on your body that I have already not seen. That was months ago, and I wasn't conscious at the time. And plus, we are in your bedroom," she said. Naruto just slipped over to the blankets. As he did not close his eyes, he just stared at the ceiling. A few moments later, Yugito slipped over at the right side as she entered the bed, and she stared at the ceiling as there was silence. It was then broken by Yugito. "A few years ago, I never thought that I would be in bed with you," she said. The next day, Yugito was happy that she came here, as Naruto was a peaceful sleeper. But with some guys, they would not allow a girl to sleep in their bed without nothing in return. But she already knew that Naruto wasn't like other guys. The fact that nothing did happen, it made her love him even more. Yugito then opened her eyes slowly as she looked over to Naruto's side, as she was surprised that he was not there. As there was nothing there, she would have felt cheap if it was her bed and they would have done it the night before, but it was not that case. She then got up as she looked around the room as she saw Naruto's forehead protector on the nightstand. She looked over where his armor was, but it was not there. His gun bay was gone as well. He could not have left the village without his forehead protector, could he? She wondered. But he did not say anything about leaving the village, as far as she knew. As she thought that waking up in his bed, they would have talked about his relationship with him, her, and Mai, as she did not like the idea of sharing him, but since they were going to be married, she would have to, as she would become his second wife, even though he's not a virgin anymore after the genjutsu that he showed her what he did a back while ago. She still wants to be his first before Mai, as she knows that when him and Mai get married, Mai will quickly rush into things. She then got up as she did the bed sheets and she then put on her clothes. She then looked around as she went downstairs. She felt someone present in the kitchen as she walked fast to look, but it was only Sasuke, as a thought came into her mind. If Naruto was down there cooking her breakfast, she would really love that, but disappointingly, it was not him. "Good morning, Sasuke," Yugito greeted with a warm smile. Her hair was still messy. She needed a bath sooner or later. "Good morning, Yugito. Sleep well?" Sasuke asked, as Yugito nodded. "Where is Naruto?" she asked, as Sasuke's eyebrow raised at this question. "He left the village about 2 hours ago. I have just returned from informing the Hokage about that. Did he not tell you?" Yugito shook her head no, as she went to take a seat and looked at Sasuke. "Where did he go?" "To the sound." "To the sound? Why?" she said curiously. "Why would Naruto go there? He's taking Karin there. She wants to go back to the village that she belongs to. That was what Naruto told me anyway." "Oh," Yugito said, as she let out a sigh of disappointment, as Naruto left without even telling her anything. He could have told her before he left in the morning, but he just left without saying a single word. She didn't like that. She would have to talk to him about it. "Did he say when he was going to return?" Yugito asked quietly. "In about 2 or 3 days. He said that he was going to drop off Karin and make sure she was safe. He also said that he was going to do some cleaning, but he did not specify what, Sasuke answered. Yugito nodded and stood up, as she was about to leave when Sasuke spoke. Yugito, just give it some time. He has not been in a relationship like this before. Yugito smiled slightly, as she understood what Sasuke was saying to her, as she nodded and walked away. She had to return to her house, take a shower, change clothes, and go about her mission today. Later that day at the sound, "Halt!" the guard at the village gate said loudly, as everyone now knew who Naruto was. But Konoha and the sound did not have any relationship. As Naruto was amused, he was the one who made this guard have the job in the first place, he thought. Well, the guard knew no better, as he did not tell Guren that he would be coming to the village. "What do you want?" the guard demanded in a firm tone. "He is returning me," Karen responded. "I used to live here, in one of Orochimaru's hideout." The guard looked at them suspiciously. "Papers," he said. Karen smiled nervously and looked at Naruto. She had no papers. Naruto held down his head, as he was tempting in using his sharingan on the man. But he could do this in a peaceful way, as he walked up to the guard and stared at him with the sharingan, as the man felt a shiver run down his spine. But he wasn't as scared. There was just something about this guy, the man wondered, as Naruto reached into his pocket and took out papers. "Come on, Karen," he said, without turning back and looking at her. The guard looked at the papers before handing it back to Naruto. "Don't cause any trouble," the guard said, but Naruto ignored him and walked past. When Karen entered, she smiled happily. It was like she was walking into a beautiful, smaller version of Konoha. The place was quite different from when Orochimaru reigned. New gates, everything was new. There were kids playing around the village, kids over at playground. "It's beautiful," she said with a smile. "I did not think that this village will ever look like this." She paused for a moment. Where did all of these people come from? The sound did not have this many people as far as she remembered. Other small villages, some were here and some were found wandering around, Naruto answered. Karin was walking behind Naruto, looking around everywhere. "You will get to see it clearly tomorrow when I'm gone," Naruto said. Karin sighed and called up to Naruto, as the villagers were looking at him with curiosity. Well, the both of them. But no one said or did anything. They walked until they reached the most beautiful place in the village, the Crystal Palace. "Did you actually design this?" Karin said in awe, as she was surprised. This place was twice as big as the Hokage's tower. "Yes," said Naruto, as it was quite pleasant to see. It was befitting for someone like him. They then walked to the entrance of the palace, as no one was stopping them. Guren had to know by now that Naruto was in the village. It will explain by now why no one had stopped them from entering the palace. Finally, they entered and they reached the top office. Since Naruto had the design of the blueprint in his head, he knew every single place in here, as there was no need to knock as he entered. Guren already stood up, as she was not behind her desk. He was beside it. "Naruto-sama, I was not expecting you to come here so soon. Zetsu informed me that you were busy at Konoha." As she then looked at the woman beside him, a familiar face. "Naruto-sama?" Naruto said with a raised eyebrow. "Subordinates call their superiors like that," Guren said, as she always called Orochimaru Orochimaru-sama to show her respect, as he was her master after all. Naruto shrugged. He really did not care about that. As long as she did what she was told, he had no problems. "Sit," he said, taking a seat in front of the desk. Karen stood behind him, while Guren took a seat behind her desk. "Should we not make privacy seal first?" Guren asked quietly. "One of Zetsu's clone is in the palace, making sure that no one will eavesdrop. But just in case," as he then turned around and ran through hand signs as he slammed it on the ground. The whole place glowed for a few seconds, then vanished. It's nice to see you again, Guren, Karen stated as she narrowed her eyes at the woman. After a few minutes, she nodded. I did not know that you were with Naruto-sama, Guren stated. I have been with him before Orochimaru was killed. That was news to Guren, but Naruto always keeps secrets. When did Mei leave? Naruto said, getting straight to the matter. Around noon, she seemed to be in a hurry, returning to her village. Naruto then gave Guren a look. Well, all affairs and the treaty was signed. It was no hustle since she told me that you sent her. Good, said Naruto. You have handled things perfectly. Once this village is complete, it will thrive. It had to. This will be its main office. Thank you, Guren said at his compliment. I am sure it will. Business is already good and the economy is stable. When everything is finished, the sound will be a success. Naruto and Guren then talk about some more business as he told Guren that Karen will be staying at the village. As we skip to the next day, just outside of the sound, Naruto was walking as he sensed something. He quickly turned around as he was face to face with Jiraiya, as Jiraiya was staring at him with a serious look. As Naruto already knew what the problem was, he was not in touch with Tsunade over the past day. So that is what with this staring, Naruto said looking at Jiraiya. What can I do for you, Jiraiya? Naruto asked in his usual tone. What were you doing in the zone? As soon as I heard that you were heading towards this direction, I rushed over here. I also heard that you were with a red-haired girl. I figured that she was that girl, Karen, Jiraiya said, as he was still in a serious tone. Why should I tell you anything? I went with Karen to the zone, and yet I come back without her, Naruto said crossing his arms, like he was the one with question. Are you going to answer my question? Jiraiya said. I wonder, Naruto said as he looked at Jiraiya. But guys, I'm gonna be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all your friends on your social media platform. And remember to go ahead and check out my main channel because I'm going to be posting What If Naruto Went Back in Time and also What If Naruto's Now Sasuke. But for now, I'm out. Peace.